Now, Nigerian stocks are still riding high after yesterday's rebound. Sewa Wusu, head of research at Sterling Capital, is here to share his top stocks for this week. Thank you so much, Sewa, for taking the time out to join us.
Yeah, thank you, Esther.
Now, we saw a rebound yesterday. Well, we know what the market trend has been. Investors still trading cautiously, going after cheap valuations, and of course focusing on fundamentals. Now, you say that investors should, among other things, focus on stocks that have, or companies that have, a diversified portfolio or revenue stream. And one stock that comes to mind is Transco, an interesting story coming out of Transco, especially what they're doing with one of their business arms, that's the Transco Ughelli, where they have increased generation capacity from around 342 megawatts in December 2013, now at 610, and they're hoping to take it up to 850 megawatts by the end of this year. So we're seeing that power asset growing in leaps and bounds. So how can investors begin to key into this? And is this an investment for long-term investors?
Well, basically, I think it is, because power is, we need power. The economy is challenged currently because there is no power. It affects manufacturing. It affects, businesses. So definitely we need power. And so for Transcorp, I think the capacity expansion is a positive one. And I think it's also a long-term project right now. Investors should pitch their tent, although the gains may not come in the near term. So
in terms of a category of investors who should stay with Transco if they're hoping to, benefit from this ongoing projects, most of which are long-term, then they have to sit this one out.
Yes, because look at the market, for instance. Like you rightly said earlier, the market is currently challenged, probably because of no clear, economic direction. But that will come, whether I would like it or not. Now, also look at some of the companies. Companies that will weather the storm this period of time are companies that have diversified income in terms of subsidiaries. And that's why I said Transcorp is one of them. They have hotel business.
Yeah, the hospitality. And if you look at their portfolio, how diversified it is and what they're doing, hospitality, they're in agribusiness, and then energy. These are three strategic areas in terms of the economy. We know that the federal government wants to invest more in agriculture this year. Of course, we're looking at more investments in the power, and then the hospitality business is actually still growing in Nigeria and even indeed the entire African continent. So is Transcorp very well positioned to have a very good year?
Yes. Like I said, it may not be in the immediate term.
Okay.
Because the Transcorp model is a diversified model. And if you are playing in all these sectors that are critical to the economy, definitely you will benefit, no doubt. Investors will benefit. So it's not a waste of investment. Rather, it is a positive investment. But the gestation period is one factor, right? But I think on a long-term basis, Transcorp is a good buy.
Now, I'm looking at your top stock list. I see Presco and Okomo, and you tied to what you expect the federal government to do in the agriculture sector this year. For Presco and Okomo, which of them should investors consider first, and which one is a better buy?
Well, yesterday, I think Transcorp, Presco actually gained, I think, above 30 naira, 33 naira or thereabout. Agriculture is also one area that the past government looked into. And if you look at what the current president said, he said he's going to also focus on agriculture. That is better for the economy. So, and if you look at the sector in terms of agriculture, or on the stock exchange, agriculture sector, you have stock like Presco and Okomo. So I think both companies are very good, right? But I think I'll look at Presco because they're also planning to diversify into, I think, rubber production or thereabout. So it's a good one, for Presco. Investors can look at Presco, and it has good, dividend history as well. So I think they should look at Presco.
Now, you say that the oil and gas sector is still challenged. Obviously, we know why: lower oil prices, profit margins of some oil producers, oil companies, including the local ones, are under pressure. And the index, the NSE Oil and Gas Index, hasn't exactly done well this year too. Is this a stock that investors should just put aside, sit on the fence, and see if things improve, and then just focus on other sectors?
Well, I think for the oil and gas sector, a whole lot on ground now. Just few weeks we had the problem of PMS, right? And if you look at the result that most of the companies in the oil and gas shone out, they were all down. Profitability dropped and all that. Government is still owing them. What it means is that policy must be shaped to give those companies some kind of lifeline or opportunity. The subsidy removal is one key thing. Whether I would like it or not, I think subsidy should be removed, right? And for players in the sectors, we have downstream, we have upstream. I think Oando, I see Oando as a well-positioned, company in that space because they are diversified.
Regardless
right?
of the headwinds, so
they are diversified. Whether I would like it or not, we need energy. We need fuel, right? These are essential commodity. You saw what happened. There was no petrol. The economy was grounded. So that tells you that companies in that sector are very important to economic growth. So that is why government must ensure that they quickly move to make policy pronouncement whether they are removing the subsidy or not. But I think subsidy removal will do us a whole lot of good. And by then, companies in that sector will find a way out, on getting their product, marketing it, and then improving their bottom line.
All right. So, out of all of this, which do you like the most? You have a couple UAC, from the consumer goods down to oil and gas, down to the conglomerates. But for now, perhaps for even short-term investors, I know we always say that this market is for long-term, especially the current environment the market is in right now. It should be for those with a lot of patience, long-term investors. But
yes.
We also have speculators in the market. But for those who are looking for,
I will say some things, Esther. You see, the market is a going concern, and we have fund managers, we have retail investors that want to optimize gain from the market. Now, how do you optimize gain? Is it when the market is bullish? When the market is bullish, you have gains, no doubt. But in a downward market like we're having now, that's clear opportunity. Even for speculators with risk appetite, you can speculate by investing now. Okay,
so just going with the old saying, buy low, sell.
Well, that is the norm.
Sell high.
But that is the norm. You take calculative risk.
All right.
Right. But I think that most of the headwinds that we are seeing in our economy will change once government make pronouncements.
Okay, well, Sewa, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much
for
thank you sharing so much, that with us. Sewa Wusu, Head of Research at Sterling Capital.